Welcome back to another episode of Hockey. Actually, everyone, I'm Izzy. This is Nicolleta, and we are here today to talk to you guys about losses because
That's
apparently
yeah.
that is what our Vancouver hockey teams are putting up this week. Uh, of course, we'll start with our usual weekly recap of the Canucks and the Goldeneyes, and then we'll move into whatever else is up on the docket today. But just to start us off with some losses,
Yeah.
we'll start with the Canucks, who lost to San Jose on Friday and then lost to the LA Kings on Saturday in overtime and then lost to the Colorado Avalanche on Tuesday, which is honestly expected given how strong the Avalanche are right now. But things are not positive in Canucks land right now. They have not been for a very big chunk of the season, I would say, if not the whole season. But I don't know. I feel like these past three games, of course, like you expect the loss to the Avalanche in some ways, but the other two, like you could have kind of flip flop between them, right? Like both of those two games were separated by a goal. And of course, we had the weird, funky thing going on with the Kings game where there were three goals that were challenged for review and all got turned back. So could they have won? I don't know. But at the same time, like,
There's not a lot of positive stuff to say.
yes. What can we say? Like, prior to the San Jose game, we had like the Canucks had a decent power play. I mean, their power play had scored in eight straight games. And then you go into the San Jose game and you go 0 for 9 on the power play, and they haven't scored on the yeah, yeah, it was that bad.
I didn't watch that game. I've been so okay. I've been lacking because of how depressing it's been. I'm just gonna be honest because it's it's not even that I don't want to support the team. It's just hard to watch. It's just like time and time again, it becomes more difficult to just sit there and watch them suffer. It's like they're causing their own suffering. Because I don't know, I think like some of the guys are capable players. Like there there's a decent like okay, it's not the best of the best. It's not a Stanley Cup team, but like it's not what they're currently producing. So it's just been hard to watch. 0 for 9.
Yep.
0 for 9.
Technically, one of those was like 1.5 seconds long or something like that because it was at the end of the game. So you could say 0 for 8, but realistically, does that make a difference?
Even so, 0 for 8.
Oh, for I feel like anytime you get past 0 for 5, it's kind of like, all right, what are we doing here? Like,
Did they switch it up or like what was going on?
not
Not
overly.
really.
It like they got looks, they just could not score. Like a couple of their first power plays that game were decent and looked like they could score. They just didn't score. And then from there, it was kind of like, so yeah. So since that game, they have yet to score on the power play. So who knows? Maybe we'll see a power play goal this weekend, but I don't know. I don't know. At
I'd
this
I'd
point,
like to I'd like to see a win. Who are they playing next?
Utah Friday, which would be tonight. And then they play Minnesota on Saturday.
Ew.
Yeah.
Well, it it is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yep. Yep. Uh I mean, other than that, with the recap, we did have a couple returns to practice on Thursday. Nils Höglander and Connor Garland both shedded their non-contact jerseys, both back to regular practice. Sounds like, from what I saw, Höglander is looking to be back for next week, late next week. Demko might be the same, but that one I would not quote me on. That is just from what we see. So there are some positives. to the Canucks this week. Those are our lone positives, are that players are starting to make their way back, but we don't know that for sure.
Isn't that tragic?
Yeah, right? Like not a
That's
win,
yeah.
not like
The most positive thing we have to say is that injured players are returning to the ice and it's not even confirmed that they're going to play.
yeah, that as has been most of the season. I feel like that's something we've seen very consistently throughout the season is player might be back, and that's your positive news for the day.
Yeah.
But we can move on from the Canucks from one sad timeline to another
It
sad
doesn't
timeline.
even matter, man. It's yeah, the Goldeneyes. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. It's not a good look.
We had a 5-1 loss for the Goldeneyes on Saturday against the Sirens, who are in Vancouver, in town this Saturday. And then on Wednesday, of course, the Goldeneyes lost 2-0 to the Boston Fleet. Were shut out for the first time this season. But of course, they were shut out. I think the biggest concern, including that, is just the fact that we talked about it earlier. They have produced 2 goals on the road in their 3 games since their home opener. They scored 4 times in the home opener, and since then, 2 goals. Which, like, I know a lot of people want to treat this team with kid gloves because, of course, they're new, like, new team expansion and stuff. But 2 goals in 3 games is just like, you're not going to win games by scoring 2 goals over a span of 3 games.
I think that just goes to show, well, I tweeted it out in the game that they played against the Fleet. There were 7 minutes left in the first period, and they were 0-0 for shots on goal and, well, obviously the score. But like, you should not have 0 shots on goal past halfway through the first period. That to me is like borderline unacceptable. And that is on offense, strictly on offense, because that's, you know what, the defense, they're supposed to be helping out our goalies. And our goalie, singular goalie, Mashmeyer, has been doing phenomenally. But where are the plays? Where is just shoot the puck? It's really, I want to say it's not that difficult, but I went skating the other day and good Lord, it was not a good look for me. But but like just shoot it. That is literally your job. As a forward, your job is to get goals. How do you expect to get goals if you take 0 shots? Just putting that out there.
Well, they always say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Literally.
And in this case, for pretty much all of the Vancouver teams at this point, I guess, they are not taking the shots.
Yeah.
So,
There was an Abbotsford win.
yep. The
Yeah.
Abbotsford Canucks did win on Wednesday night in the shootout. So we do have one win throughout these 3 BC teams.
Let's
One
go.
win, and it's the one team that you think would not win. No offense, Abbotsford.
Yeah, no offense, Abbotsford.
No offense
We
at all.
hashtag live, laugh, love Abbotsford. But it's because they have like DPD in the lineup again. I think Mancini's off of IR and he's like playing. Like you just have those players that Vancouver was like stealing.
Mhm. The thing
And
is,
yeah.
though, like some people may have like me, I was kind of thinking they would stick DPD down there for a decent chunk of time, but they called him up this morning. So
Brother, keep him down there. Like,
give him time to
guys, give him
marinate, right?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let
Like,
him cook.
right? And like we can add more onto this later, but like it doesn't make sense to call him up if you're just gonna stick him in the press box, right? Because he's been like he hasn't played for the Canucks the past 2 games. Like he's been healthy scratched. He's a young player. He's 21.
Get him on the ice.
Exactly. Even if that's in Abbotsford, like at least he's getting top line minutes there where he's playing on the power play, playing on the penalty kill, playing in all situations. Whereas up here, he's just sitting, right?
It's like you say that you want to develop your athletes, especially your younger folk who have a lot of talent, mind you,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not allowing them to do that. You're
Mm-hmm.
preventing it, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, Canucks organization needs to get a grip. Get a grip, lock in, figure stuff out. Because
Figure stuff out.
this is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And I can't even like to a certain extent, I blame the t like the players because half the time it just seems like they've lost motivation throughout the game. But who put them in that situation? Just putting that out there.
It's everyone's fault.
It is I think it was just it started off as a snowball and then, the snowball effect and now
Now
we've
it's an avalanche.
yeah, now we've surpassed the ball part. It is now the entire mountain is falling.
Uh,
So
but yeah, as you mentioned, Abbotsford was the lone team to get the win since the last time we talked. But we do have a fun little thing coming up on Saturday. We have Vancouver professional hockey's first triple header, where all three games from the Canucks, Abbotsford Canucks, and the Goldeneyes will be played in BC, which is neat. Who knows how many of them will win? But but I'm sure it'll be a fun day regardless. We also have to note that that day the Vancouver Whitecaps are playing as well for the MLS Cup, MLS Championship, mind you. So
maybe stay home, folks. If you're not going to the game, stay home. You probably
stay
don't want
home
to
and
get
watch
yeah.
that. But so yeah, December 6th for starters on the schedule, we have the Golden Eyes versus the Sirens, who they lost to 5-1 in New York a week before, but I digress. That's at 12 p.m. Pacific. And then the next game is actually not until 7 p.m. So if people wanted to check out the Golden Eyes game and maybe see a win,
Potentially.
yeah,
I
potentially.
think I think the crowd was a big aspect of the first win. So I think maybe they just need the motivation,
Yeah.
the like I don't know if it was just because they're so new that the fan base was like the raw energy and it was probably
Mhm.
very emotional for them
Oh, yeah.
and now they're like, well, what's going on? So it's
Mhm.
going to be up to the fans to really motivate them
Mhm.
and show that we have their support.
Yeah. And Vancouver, like the Golden Eyes,
Or
do
no, they
have
have
a
our support. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. Everyone supports everyone.
Yeah, everyone
Uh,
supports everyone.
the Golden Eyes do have a decently long homestand coming up. Of course, part of that is impacted by the rivalry series, which is coming back for like two during the week of the 12th and 13th. So that tosses things up a little bit for a couple of players on the Golden Eyes, but for the most part, after the 6th, there's a pretty long homestand. So hopefully Vancouver is able to kind of generate some motivation or like enthusiasm from those home games. And maybe that's when we'll start to see things change. But who knows? We'll see. But that starts on the 6th with their match against the Sirens. And also occurring on the 6th, we have the Vancouver Canucks versus the Minnesota Wild at 7 p.m. And if you want to not catch the Canucks and instead see their AHL affiliate, the Abbotsford Canucks are hosting the Coachella Valley Firebirds for their teddy bear toss night, which is always very fun. Bring a teddy bear when Abbotsford scores, toss it onto the ice. All proceeds are going to children in need for Christmas. Always a good cause. And it's a fun night. So if you're interested in catching a double header of hockey on Saturday, there are your two
Yeah.
options. Um, there are a couple other times. There is one more, I think, triple header in March, March 14th,
Okay.
where it follows a similar schedule where the Golden Knights play at 12 and then Abbotsford and Vancouver play at 7. And then a couple doubleheaders as well. But yeah, so if
First triple header.
yeah, it might be a little there might be a little more enthusiasm towards this if all three teams were winning, but unfortunately that is not the case. So hopefully I the chances of this happening are probably pretty slim, but it would be neat if we saw all three teams win on Saturday, get a nice 3-0 for them.
The Goldeneyes have to set the tone,
Yep,
not to
exactly.
put more pressure,
Yep.
because the last thing we want to do is put pressure on this team.
But yeah, so there's some fun news for everyone. Not
Yeah,
necessarily a win, but a win for sports fans. I don't know.
that's a good way to put it. I like
Yes.
that.
A win for people who want to catch sports, win or
Yes.
lose aside. But
Ideally win, but
ideally win. But if you're looking for some entertainment over the weekend, if you're looking to bring, your family to a game, you got plenty of options.
there you go.
But another thing that has been going on in Canucks land, which has been garnering a lot of attention recently. I don't know if you've heard all the Bublé and Frank Seravalli drama.
It's making me laugh hysterically. I
Right?
think it is the funniest, like of all people, Michael Bublé, like
Like it's so random because like I think the last time we recorded, like Bublé was actually on like his radio hit talking, and
yeah.
that's when the comment first came out. But to
Yeah.
preface for everyone who hasn't heard about it, I'm sure many people, if everyone has heard about it now, because it's like off the ice, it's probably one of the bigger stories in the NHL just because of how random it is. Like it's
Yeah.
not every day you have a superstar and top Christmas album singer going after a NHL reporter. But
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that there was a weird comment that Bublé made.
the
What?
one that he made, I think he had a few comments on he was on the Czech TV's radio show Donnie and Dolly, which is where these comments first came out for those listening.
Yeah.
He had a few interesting takes actually. So I clipped some of the quotes. I'm just gonna read them right now, and I'll end it with the randomest one that we'll probably
Hmm.
discuss later. He talked a bit about the fan base. He said, we're kind of a fan base that comes from a place of frustration. 80% are an amazing fan base, by the way. You have to be to put up with this crap for this many years and still sell out those arenas every day and watch the team and not become apathetic. But we're also like a dog that's been beaten. We've been beaten, and so we just keep waiting for the next bad thing. That's on the fan base. On JT Miller and Elias Pettersson, he had a little comment that said, you think they're in love in New York? Listen, this is again a year ago. Everyone said, get rid of Petey, keep changing. And what did you do? Well, a year later, everyone was so sure. And you know what? A year later, I'd rather have Petey. And then he also commented on Quinn Hughes' future with the team and said, if he's staying, he knows it. And if he's going, he knows it. And I'll tell you even further than that. I truly believe that you won't know, and I won't know, and maybe his brother won't know, but I truly believe that Jim won't know, kind of implying that, if the decision is made, it's in his head. Nobody else
Yeah.
knows it. And of course, we have the most random comment
The
of
one
the
that sparked all
whole
of this
show.
controversy.
Yes, that sparked the whole beef. This is what he says. Here's another fact. I keep reading these things from the media like I haven't said his name before, but I'm just going to say Frank Seravalli. Frank is probably a really good guy. I don't know Frank well, but if Frank Seravalli is a Canuck or is a Canucks insider, yeah, then the 40-year-old virgin was a porn star. So that is what sparked everything for those who have not heard about this drama recently. Bublé said that, and then a couple days after, Seravalli fires back on his show and says, I found it very odd. I guess in the end, I would expect nothing less of someone who's named one of his children after perhaps the NHL's most overplayed player. He has one of his kids that's partially named after Elias Pettersson. And then, of course, Bublé fires back saying in Instagram comments, I think this is sarcasm. I would assume it's sarcasm, but he says, Frank is right. I was a fan of Petey before he got drafted, used to watch him play. And then, of course, Frank comes back on another show and says, I like, because, of course, Seravalli was getting a bit of heat because he brought Bublé's kid into it. And, of course, Bublé's kid was actually born a year before the Canucks drafted Pettersson. So a lot of people were going at Seravalli for this, but Seravalli fires back saying, I didn't bring his kids into this. It was a jab at him being a Canucks fan. That's all it was. For people to turn it into something else was truly wild and unbelievable. And as far as I know, that is where we are so far in this beef. I don't know if there's more coming. I hope there's no more coming, but there is no way I would have had Seravalli and Bublé beef on my 2025 bingo card.
Nope, definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I think it's just unnecessary, man.
right,
Like, what are we doing? Is this
right,
how bored we are with our lives that we're literally saying the most random things? To me, that's not professional on either Bublé's part or Saravelli's part.
mm-hmm.
And then bringing it to the media publicly, like, okay, yes, Bublé started it. Seravalli, you don't add fuel to the fire. Like, just let him say whatever he wants and move on with your life. Who cares? It's one guy who said something. So, it was honestly like, it made me laugh because it was so funny and random.
Right.
Like, if I was Sarah Velli, I would have been like, jokes. Like, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
But leave it at that. Like, don't engage.
It's just so like it blew up so quickly, and it was so random, right? Like when I first heard it, I was like, no, he didn't say that. And I had to rewind it because I'm like, did he like hear like did he say what I said? Like thought I heard. But yeah, it's kind of like I guess in some ways it's a I don't want to say positive distraction because it's not really positive, but it's a
It's a
distraction
distraction.
from what's going on in Canucks land. But like, huh? Right?
It could be like you know how we were talking about it, I think it was last week, where Foot said a really like arbitrarily wild
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
It could just be Bublé trying to take the heat off of Vancouver, like just taking one for the team because he's been a long time fan.
Long suffering Canucks fan.
And he
Yes.
knows that he has impact just based on his career alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then to say something like that, like obviously it's gonna bring up some things and it's gonna distract people because to be fair, is really funny.
Yeah.
Like,
And I mean, like, if that's the case, clearly it's working because we're talking about it right now, right?
exactly. Exactly. So, you know what? If Buble, if you're listening, which we probably aren't, props to you for doing your job if that was the goal. If not, then I don't know what to say.
Thank you for doing
Thank you.
something that had different intentions, but is starting to service the team in other ways.
Yes, exactly.
This is what you could say. But yeah, so that was very random. That was part of what was going on in Canucks land this week. We did have some trade stuff, not an actual trade rumors kind of circulate throughout the week. Uh,
And as we
there are a bunch.
predicted,
There are a bunch of teams that are kind of on this list of teams that are interested in acquiring Canucks players. Um,
yeah.
Elliot Friedman had mentioned that one that had stuck out in particular was the Philadelphia Flyers. This
For
is
Quinn, right?
hmm,
For Quinn?
not necessarily for Hughes. I think
Okay.
they had
Because
just
that's what
said,
I heard.
yeah, because they had said Philly in general, just because, not just because, but one of the
Oh.
main reasons for that was, of course, Rick Tocchet, former Canucks head coach, now coaches the Philadelphia Flyers. And there was a quote somewhere out there that said that there are Canucks veterans who are apparently open for trade that Tocchet really likes, which is not a surprise. Of course, he coached in Vancouver for 2, 3 years. So he's familiar with the team. He knows the guys he wants. I mean, we saw something similar happen when Noah Juleson signed with the Flyers. But of course, because of that, a lot of people have been quick to put Hughes' name out there because Hughes has been a very vocal supporter of Tocchet, big fans of one another. But again, there was that whole little thing where Friedman had mentioned that the Canucks are not open to trading Hughes right now. I mean, I don't know if that'll change at some point, but
Okay. I mean, I think my problem with Hughes is that yes, he's a good player, but they're overplaying him, and then the time that he does spend on the ice is not quality.
not to the
So,
same degree as like previous seasons. Like there's a
yeah,
noticeable difference, right?
yeah, it's like I don't want to say he's given up,
Mm-hmm.
but he just seems tired.
Yeah.
And I don't blame the guy
Yeah.
because to keep an entire franchise on your back for however many years is very challenging. And to play like, what is he like putting up like 30-minute games? Like,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've swum for 30 minutes straight, and it's some of the most painful stuff, but I don't do that every other day. I do it
Mm-hmm.
maybe once a month. He's doing it every other day.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't blame him for taking a step back.
Mm-hmm.
But the Canucks organization can't rely on him. Like at this point, he's shown that whether he wants to stay or not doesn't really matter. Like the organization just needs to figure out what they can get in return for him
Mm-hmm.
and see if that would actually benefit the team in general.
Yeah.
Because you can get a lot. Like you can
Oh
get
yeah.
a couple picks and like at least two decently good players.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, you need a 2C. You need a lot of
Yeah.
actually you
You
need
need
a
a
lot
lot of stuff. The 2C is the priority,
is the priority.
but there's a heck of a lot more that you need to add to.
But I feel like you could get a 2C, you could get like a like a winger, you could get maybe even like a defenseman in return.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion. Not that I want Quinn to go by any means, but you just kind of got to look at it from the perspective of he's not adding to the team right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that he will because I haven't seen him play like exceptionally well. And also he's injured, so
On the topic of the Flyers, one name that I kind of like thought about, I don't think it would work, but like one I had thought about in terms of on the more veteran side is Connor Garland. Just because him and Tocchet do have that connection. I mean, Tocchet coached him in Arizona and then here in Vancouver. And Garland, of course, has been very outspoken about how Tocchet has helped him round out his game, gives him a lot of credit in terms of how he's kind of developed his game on like the defensive side, kind of getting his way onto the PK, ending up being one of those players who's defending against an empty net, things like that. Of course, that's not necessarily one of the top things right now. Of course, Garland's name has been out there, but not to the same degree as some players. Like, for example, Kiefer Sherwood, who at this point is probably the most talked about Canuck in terms of potential to be traded. I don't
yeah,
think I've seen anyone's name out there as much as
Kiefer
Sherwood's,
Sherwood. Yeah.
aside from maybe Hughes, but I think that's
Yeah,
different
like
kind of
yeah.
scale. Yeah. Where do we even start with Sherwood? Because a lot
I
of
don't want him to go.
teams,
I don't want him to go. I like him. Why, Canucks?
but apparently a lot of people like him too, which is why so many teams are calling in for him, which is fair. He is a very good player. He brings a lot. So where do we even start? Online, people had said that the Boston Bruins, had called in and were interested. Other teams include the Islanders, the Sabres, the Red Wings, the Wild, the Canadians. Someone else had also floated the Columbus Blue Jackets because Sherwood is from Ohio.
Oh,
So
so
if
like a
anything,
quarter of the teams.
yeah, pretty much, honestly. Like, so yeah, there are a lot of people interested. Clearly, a lot of people, and honestly, they should
Rightfully
be.
so.
Yeah, right. Like Sherwood is a player who, honestly, if you're making a playoff push, he will be a difference maker. And
Mhm.
even I mean, the biggest indicator of that, I feel like, is when the Canucks played Nashville in 2024. And of course, Sherwood was a big difference maker in that series. So much so that Quinn Hughes told management, hey, this guy's really good. We should try to get him. And here we are, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, I who knows if the Sherwood trade saga is going to play out now or closer to the trade deadline, but whoever is in the running for playoffs, I'm
Is
sure
gonna
there's going to
want him.
yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of teams who look at him and go, yeah, we want him for playoffs. In the past, we have seen players like him who are having record setting years for themselves fetch things like a first round pick and more, right? So if that is the case, like if Sherwood is fetching the Canucks a first round pick, I feel like
It's a good return on investment.
it's a very good return. And especially with the teams that are interested, he's only making 1.5 mil right now. That's a good cap hit for a player who can make that much of a difference, who's currently leading his team in goals, by the way. Something I feel like we overlook a lot, but like it sucks because you want him here, of course, and you know he makes a big difference here. But if you're looking from the business side, I guess it makes sense.
To let him go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know he's going. I just think management is going to try and keep him for as long as they can. So I think it's going to be closer to the trade deadline,
Mm-hmm.
which like I'm not mad about. At least he'll be on the Canucks for a little bit longer and I get to watch Sherwood for a little bit more. But I think it's a similar situation to She Loves
Mm,
where you're like, why would you trade him? But also like I understand and maybe it's better for the player actually.
yeah, like given the context and circumstances, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And who knows, like if he's doing this well on a Canucks team that is doing so poorly, imagine how he'd do on a good team, right? When he's got proper pieces to play alongside, right?
Exactly.
So it sucks for Canucks fans, but
At least we had him.
yeah, right? Yeah, you
At
got to
least we
see
had him.
him. You got record seasons from him.
Yep.
Uh, Kind of on that note on trades, the Canucks are, of course, very infamous as of late for making major trades a month before the deadline. I'm wondering if they keep that up this year. Because, of course, in 2023, they traded Bo Horvat to the Islanders. 2024, they traded to get Elias Lindholm. 2025, traded JT Miller and then acquired Marcus Pettersson and Drew O'Connor. I'm wondering if something else similar happens this year with all the kind of buzz around the team.
Well, I hope not, because those trades did not end well for us. No offense to Marcus Pettersson or Drew O'Connor.
Hey, they got
But
Mancini.
yeah, I guess.
That's the one. That's the one positive.
Yeah, you get one positive.
One positive out of how many
Many
negatives?
negatives. Yeah. And the guy's injured and he's playing in the AHL, so it's not even, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I hope that they take the time and think it through. Like don't jump the gun.
But then the issue is if they take too much time and then all of a sudden it's one of those situations where the trade deadline passes and say that they haven't traded Sherwood and then he leaves for nothing. It's always a toss up. It's so interesting because it's like, and we saw something not really similar, but kind of similar last year when the trade deadline came and so many rumors were coming out about Besser being traded because it was his last year. And then deadline passes and they make no trades. The only trade they made was Carson Soucy to the Rangers like the day before.
Which I was totally fine with. I was, no offense to Carson Soucy. You gave us an iconic moment in Canucks history. Do you remember that the
Yep.
crush? It makes me laugh. It's the same thing with like Phil Di Giuseppe, He's got like an iconic Canucks photo
Yeah.
and he departed and I'm happy with that, but I didn't not like Carson Soucy every
Mhm.
single time. I was like, there's the rat.
Yep.
There's the rat on the ice.
And especially I think like you could really notice that his time in Vancouver would be coming to an end when DPD started taking his spot in the
Yeah,
lineup, right?
exactly. It was just his time to go.
Right?
And it
Yeah.
was for the best.
Speaking of DPD though, we had touched on it a bit earlier that he was sent down to the AHL, played a game, and then got called back up. And of course, this is coming after he spent 2 games out of the lineup being healthy scratched. Do we stand by the Canucks' decision to call him back up?
Sorry, no. I don't know what the Canucks are doing. What's your opinion?
I'm kind of wondering now that we've seen him move back and forth if they called him up today to get in practice with the team and then they're gonna
Send him
send
back
him
down?
down to play with Abbotsford throughout the weekend. That's
That
what
would be
my
such a weird tactic.
right.
Why would you do that? Why? What's the point? What's the reason?
I mean, it might have been that they needed the extra body because POJ did miss practice today due to the flu. But
Another guy that I'm not extraordinarily fond of. But anyways, if you're going to trade players that are not contributing to the team. And he is just a body on the ice skating back and forth. I'm sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but
he did not have a good look on Colorado. There was one goal. I think he was pinching a little too much, and McKinnon was left wide open. And of course, you can guess what happened after that. But
it's like,
I,
what are you doing? What are you doing?
I like it's interesting because like initially, of course, he was brought in. My opinion is his in like he was initially brought in to be the seventh defenseman, but of
That's
course
what
with
I
Derek,
thought.
yeah, and then DPD would be in the lineup, but of course with Derek Forbort out for who knows how long, and then
In my opinion, he's
injuries,
not coming back.
you just
You
written
may
him
as
off.
well just consider him gone. It's the same thing with Philip Hedl. He's basically gone. Like,
There are certain players you just at this point you don't even imagine them being on the team anymore.
yeah, I just like it's just the way it is. Even if he does return to the lineup, he's been out for how long? He was injured. You're not just gonna get and no offense to Forbort, but I did not think he was that good of a player. In my opinion, I did not like him that much. I know that is a bit controversial because a lot of people really like him, but I
Mhm.
don't. So,
I think it depends on what side of the game you're looking at, right? And of course, like that is a good point where he's been gone for how long? He has struggled with injuries a lot throughout his career. What is he going to be like if slash when he gets back?
yeah.
It'll be interesting because as well, we don't know. Like, of course, the decor most of it stays the same, but a good chunk of it might change now that Tom Villander is seemingly part of the top six over DPD. And then, of course, POJ is coming in. My guess is if Forbort comes back anytime soon, that it'll be POJ that comes out. But I don't know. There's a lot of movement going on. It's very odd, but I do think I do agree with you where, if anything, let DPD stay in Abbotsford.
That was my main point.
Yeah. Because we got off on a bit of a tangent.
We did a little tangent, but we're steering back.
That's okay. We're righting the ship again. Let DPD stay in Abbotsford. I know it might sound negative optics wise, considering that spot in the top six was pretty much written off to him heading into the season. And of course, he hasn't quite looked the same this year as he did last year. But
are you not again, sorry if you're not doing well, then that's your problem.
And I think people do need to remember that he is only 21 and
POJ is 21?
No, oh no, I was talking about DPD.
Oh,
POJ is like 26, 27.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, that guy looks older.
Like, you don't look 21.
Yep.
Yeah, but
okay, sorry, continue.
No, you're good. I mean, I feel like DPD should stay in Abbotsford. Last year was his first full season playing North American level hockey, right? Like, prior to that, most of his time was spent in Sweden. This year, you kind of notice, like, of course, at the NHL level, you're going to have your big minute players. You have your 30-minute Quinn Hugheses on, like, the power play, like, 95% of the time. And then you have your penalty killers and Tyler Myers and Marcus Pettersson. Of course, DPD is not going to be able to slot in at any point if you've already got these people who are key players in certain scenarios. So how are you going to help him grow that aspect of his game? Right? Abbotsford or the AHL. It's like,
let him marinate, let him cook.
Exactly. He's only 21. Like, there's no rush to bring
young.
Yeah. There's no rush to bring him up now, right? Especially if you do go that route of maybe looking towards the future more than winning now. But again, of course, that's all up in the air for debate as always. But whatever.
Yeah.
And especially like in the AHL, we talked about Abbotsford and how they're struggling, but they did win.
They did win. Like, I mean, I think the difference is that Abbotsford actually looks like they're trying. I hate to say that, use that word, but it looks like they're actually putting in effort and trying to win games.
It's just that they're so depleted, right?
It's just that they're so depleted. And it's like, what? Like, half of the team is probably under 21 at least. Or do we have a lot of older guys? I really don't know. I think
off the top of my head, I could not tell you, just because there's so much movement going on. If you look strictly at the D core, like, because if Pettersson were to return, that's where he'd be. If you look strictly at the D core, you have Mancini, who's 22, 23. Sawyer Minio's like 21, 20-ish. And then you've got some other random players. You've got Kirill Kudryavtsev, who is also very young. Like,
okay. I'm gonna start, because how old? If you're born in 2000, you're what, 25 now?
Yes.
Okay. So we gotta do 2003 and lower. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 players.
That's a big chunk of your player. That's forwards and defense?
Yep. That's just forwards. Oh, I didn't even scroll through the D. Okay. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 players.
Is that throughout the whole season? Like, that's all the players they've put on their roster throughout the season? Because if you're bringing in that many young players, like, holy, I go whole big mode.
That is the current team roster. I did 2002 and under.
Still.
Still,
Still. Like
that's still like 23.
you got a bunch of people our age skating out there. Like,
Literally.
uh,
Eh, That's actually ridiculous.
mm-hmm.
I did not realize. And there's only like a handful of guys above 2000.
I know
There's
Jimmy Schultz for sure is around 30.
three,
And then after that,
four,
Mackenzie McEachern is probably around 30. Joe LeBate's like 32.
yeah, six, seven, eight.
That's all I got.
You have 8 players born before the year 2000. 8 players on your entire roster. So everyone is almost the majority of people are 25 and under.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. Like,
What are you expecting? What are you expecting? Like, it's okay. This is good development years for them. But that is insanity. I didn't realize it was that many. The oldest person is Joseph Labate.
And how old is he?
He was born in 93. So
So we
however old
don't,
that
so
makes
there's
him.
Abbotsford does not have a single player who was born earlier than the 90s,
Yep. Yep.
which
The oldest player is 32.
live, laugh, love Abbotsford or whatever it is you were saying.
Love Abbotsford. Yep.
Okay,
That's
well,
actually crazy. Sorry, I
no,
I
you're good.
did not realize that. That is wild.
You're good. Well, we can move on, I guess, from
Yeah.
the Canucks and their issues, their
Yep.
many issues, to the Goldeneyes and their many issues as well. Everybody is, yeah, I don't even.
My problem is that I just keep saying the same thing about the Goldeneyes, but we are 4 games in now, and it's starting to get a little old.
That's
You're
yeah. Like,
telling us that this is supposed to be like a cup-winning team. I'm not seeing it.
and I think like a lot of people, once the kind of skid started, a lot of people, including myself, were saying like it's early, give them some time.
Yeah.
But when is that grace period end, right? Like, are you going to be saying that 10 games in where it's like, oh, like give them a chance to get their legs? At that point, when you're 10 games in, that's a third of your season down, right?
Yeah.
Even coming up to the 5 game point, it's like if they're 1-4 by the end of their 5 games,
That's not very good.
yeah, you're at the bottom of the league at that point. And of course, when like your competition is so strong, you see Boston is undefeated still, of course. You see the Ottawa Charge, the kind of performance they put up against Vancouver. You see all these things, and oh,
We are last in the
yeah,
standings.
because I think, yeah, Seattle won last night. So
Yeah, Seattle's fourth. It goes the Fleet, the Frost, Sirens, Torrent, Victoire, Scepters, Charge, and Goldeneyes.
Yep.
And
I,
2 of the teams have only played 2 games. Just putting that out there.
Here's to hoping that the homestand gives them some motivation because If that doesn't, I'm not sure what is going to.
Yeah, if they can't show like to a certain extent, like yes, okay, Sarah Nurse isn't in the lineup, but she's not the end all be all player.
Hmm.
She's not like a like yes, she will change momentum and bring in speed, but she's not gonna fix the core of the issue.
Hmm. And even if
So,
if that was the case where she made this big of a difference, your team should not be performing like that, where the minute you lose a player, everything goes to
everything
crap,
goes, yeah.
right? Like, and the biggest, I think one of the bigger concerns is that heading into the season, so many people were praising Vancouver's
Yeah.
offense, like how the offense looked. I mean, you have really good players on offense. You got like Hannah Miller, you got Jen Gardner, all these players who can put in a good effort, bring the puck to the net, and really provide that good forecheck that you need to score those kinds of goals. But we're not seeing that, right? Not to the degree that a lot of people were thinking, of course.
The only people that I'm seeing that are generating offense, and I'm saying that very kindly, are Abigail Boreen and Teresa Venishova close. And that's not great. When you have two players that stand out among how many? Where is Hannah Miller, as you said? Where is Jen Gardner? Where did they go? Are they just skating and doing nothing? Like, what's happening? Yeah.
I just like, and like, it just looks disjointed, right? Like, and of course, they had some
Yeah.
looks against Boston. At some point, things look better. But of course, when you look at the first part of that game, how many shots? Like we mentioned it earlier, but like how
There
many
were, I
shots we
think there
put
were
up,
two.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's hard because I know so many people are probably disappointed because heading in, so many people were talking this team up, and even looking at like the whole that identity that they were saying they resonated with the speed, the agility, the flash, and like the resilience of the golden eye. And we're like, maybe it'll take some time to craft that, but early on, it's not
It's not
looking
there.
promising. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this next game is going to be a make or break in terms of whether the fan base is going to stay behind you or not. And
Mm,
I hate to say that because it is like a very pessimistic view on the situation. But when you've performed the way that you have the past three games, you got to show that there is more to you than whatever that was.
mhm,
Because yes, we can credit it to not understanding each other as a team,
mhm,
but then you have the Torrent who are fourth in the league
mhm,
and they're doing great. You can't like you can only say it's a new team for so long and like make it an excuse
mhm.
when you have an exact comparison.
Yeah.
Almost an exact comparison, actually.
Mhm,
So, yeah, that's I think that's something that maybe people haven't really like they're like, oh, the Goldeneyes are just, like having trouble getting together, like as like cohesion, whatever,
mhm.
team effort. And I'm like, yes, but you have the Torrent who are doing a good job, who look like a team. Where is that?
And the Torrent, even in that home opener game, they
Not gonna
looked
lie, they
pretty good.
played
Like, of
better.
course they lost, but they did in some ways. They didn't win on the score sheet, but
They
they
they won.
looked like they won on the ice, right?
In
And
my opinion, they should have probably won that game, but
it doesn't
yeah.
fit the storyline.
It doesn't fit the plot.
But yeah, it's tough because especially you're so new, right? And you want to get off to a good start, especially when speaking off ice and business wise, when both Vancouver, like the Canucks and Abbotsford, are not doing well, you want to be that hot ticket in town, right? Like you want to be winning, you want to get people to your games and compete in that market. But it's hard to do that when you're
Yeah.
losing as well,
Yeah.
right? So it's
So there's that.
yeah, Vancouver is a losing city right now, but hopefully that's not the case on Saturday because again, we have the triple header and we have the Whitecaps playing in the MLS finals. So let's hope for some wins there. Oh, please. But uh is that everything from us? I think that's everything.
That's everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So
A bit of a downer, but you got to be true to, we don't want to lie to you guys and feed you misinformation. Like, we got to be honest with what is being produced. And unfortunately, this time around, it just isn't there.
yeah. But hopefully by the time Vancouver's hockey triple header passes, we'll be talking about some more wins. And if not, then, it'll probably be a similar sounding episode in terms of tone and enthusiasm.
Yeah.
But
But yeah.
as always, drop a comment for any topic suggestions. Reach out
Thanks
to
for
us on
listening.
socials. Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk next week, hopefully about some wins.